Welcome to the Netflix Club, the only show where me and my friends talk about movies. I'm Alex.
I'm Michaela.
And I'm Amy.
What did we watch this week?
Some spooky movies, a double feature of some classics. That's not true. A modern classic and an old classic? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd describe The Witch, which is the second movie we watched, as a classic just yet, but...
Seeing it's been, I think a year since it came out.
Good point! You got the facts! But Poltergeist, hands down...
Definitely a classic.
Definitely scared you as a kid. If you were lucky enough to see it as a kid, or unlucky enough.
Before we get to that, did we watch anything separate of that? I don't think I've watched anything this week that wasn't for the club.
I've been catching a lot of horror movies on cable, which is my peak experience. My favorite time of the year for sure is when I can count on Sci-Fi or AMC to have something. So what did I catch? I saw most of The Strangers.
You texted
the other
me
day.
about that.
I did text you because it's such a good bad movie. It's just inches away from being a good film. And it's super entertaining, and I'd die for Liv Tyler. That's all the facts that you need to know.
I do remember you saying that you would die for Liv Tyler.
I tweeted it, yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's okay, go to the
You
grave.
said it to the internet, but I read it, so...
Oh. So it's like you were just talking to me.
Yeah.
What if Twitter was that? Just a room where you whispered every thought.
Dude, I said that to a customer at Goodwill the other day. They were buying these conch shells, and I was like, can you hear the ocean in them? And we spent a couple minutes holding them up to our ears, because she was buying too. And we were making jokes. I was like, maybe can you hear me when I talk into it? And she was like, I'm gonna trick my kid into thinking that I can hear her and she can't hear me. And anyway, I was like, what if you whispered a secret into it, and then the conch then whispered that secret into the next person's ear?
That's some D&D world building shit, my dude. That is a magical artifact.
Dude, yeah, the telephone game, the phone from the game,
The shell phone.
the shellophone.
Upsetting.
Yeah.
Stop upsetting me.
Anyway, so that's the Twitter, I guess, is the conch shell that you're talking about.
Twitter.
That's what Twitter is.
Twitter in its purest, most aesthetic form is.
Exactly.
It's just yelling into a shell.
Whispering.
Sorry, whispering.
And there's just a bunch
Unless
of
it's
whispers
in all
floating.
caps, then it's yelling.
It's
There's no in between.
Alright. Cool. Always say yes. So, yes.
Always.
It's yell whispering. How about, can we compromise there?
Yellspring.
Screamo.
Yeah.
Y'all know about that? Yeah.
Have you heard about Screamo?
Have you heard the good word? Could you imagine? Jesus, I don't even know who is Screamo at this point. Hawthorne Heights breaking down your door to scream whisper into your ear. Anyway, that should be a service. That's my...
I set my friends on fire still alive and kicking.
Fuck! A Screamogram. Where you get people...
Are they a Screamo? I thought they were
I set my... with a name
Shows
like
what I know.
that.
I know, right? But...
If the name fits, scream it.
Oh boy.
I really only know I set my friends on fire from the Smosh videos that they collaborated with.
Oh, if Smosh listened to them, then they're probably Screamo.
Black Veil Brides? That's, I think,
there you
I'm
go.
pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. I feel like that's more, the area.
Yeah, I'm guessing there, but I feel like Black Veil Brides, I don't know, for some reason, sucked the life force out of My Chemical Romance and left their husk on the ground. That's
rude.
how I imagine it for some reason. They're feeding on it. They're scavengers of the energy. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to the Netflix Music Club.
Oh my god, what if? So we can have more opinions that no one hears.
Speaking of sucking the life force out of something, the Poltergeist
Poltergeist
was a great movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was super well crafted, and what did I say? I was I feel like this movie is like Wes Anderson's daddy or something. Or
I don't think you said
it
That's
just
Those
Daddy's
weren't my
that.
words, but
I would have mocked you.
yeah, that's
Wes Anderson's
well,
daddy. What can I can't leave that one alone.
you're right. You can't, but
You were saying like it was like a predecessor in
yeah,
some ways.
yeah, to like his aesthetic, to his like very
Interesting.
concrete,
I did not pick up on that personally.
or like maybe like not the aesthetic, but the control, or like the intention, sort of, was a precursor, in my opinion.
Interesting.
But maybe that was just because the family felt so like idealistic and like loving the whole time that like both of our movies were about like families, so that's interesting and fun to think about.
And they both centered the female participants, like the women in their
Yeah.
families.
And the
Parallels
dads were
played.
both like pretty good dads for the most part, like barring a few. I mean, like,
can you be a good dad if you put your kids in a shack with the devil?
I mean, he thought they were the devil, and like I can't really blame him for that.
Fuck, keep
Whoa,
all
whoa,
your
whoa.
devils in one place.
We'll get there.
I don't know what you're talking
But,
about. I'm
I
not
mean,
jumping
like-
the gun.
I mean, just in terms of like seeing Wes Anderson, I do see it in the idealism of like the family unit, but I don't see that much I don't see that much intention in any of the cinematography. Like none of it's bad.
In Poltergeist?
In Poltergeist, yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
But yeah, there's like a same like level of irreverence, where like the characters are like at once human, but also like not ultimately too relatable, because there's like,
There's like a level of removal, I guess. Like it's
Yeah.
like this isn't happening in our world. This is like definitely like just like the way that the family like completely believes in like what's happening to them. You know, like they're not like they never second guess it. Like they're never like, oh weird, like the chair moves. Like she like experiments and is happy that it works. Like she or like not happy but like giddy. Like
the mother.
right, sorry, yes, the mother.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
her,
she's like, ha ha ha, it worked. Like,
Mhm.
and like you don't expect it to work either when she's gonna show it, but it works, and it's like just the like how everything is. Like, that's what I mean by construction, I guess. Like, and sort of like turning cliches on their heads in a lot of ways too. Anyway, if you wanted to go through the plot a little bit, that'd probably be good.
Yeah, so there's this new like tract housing development that's been built in this area, and one of the guys who sells those houses has moved in there with his family. They've been living there for a while. It's been going great. And then all of a sudden some spooky shit starts happening. And their daughter gets taken by some ghosts, and they find out that it's not just a regular haunting, it's a poltergeist.
Which is so funny because like sorry to interrupt, but here I am. Because like part of Poltergeist specifically, or I guess like ghost movies in general, where they have like parapsychology involved, where they have to like create their own like lore and definitions. Like this is different from a haunting because it is, what was it, like directly or hauntings take place like over a period of time, something like that. Where they, like,
hauntings are like more permanent and fixed, whereas a poltergeist is something that like basically needs to get its anger out. I think was the description. Like that's going to be a limited time, but it's going to be intense while it happens.
Yeah. I was like really interested in the etymology of poltergeist, like where the word came from. So I looked it up on my iPhone 4, trusty boy, and it's German, and it comes from poltern, which is to create a disturbance, but it's also described as like noisy, and Geist, which is ghost. So noisy ghost.
Oh, dude, I didn't know it was German. I thought it was like,
Yeah.
I like always knew it was like a weird word that wasn't rooted in like, is German a Romance language? No, right? Latin based languages, I guess. I don't know if German's, oh fuck. Anyway.
It's Germanic.
I got
Thanks.
I don't know shit.
Anyway.
And interestingly, one of these websites that I was looking up for etymology said that the English equivalent not English as in the language, but England, the place, would be Bogart, which I didn't really know. So, like, if you're a big Harry Potter fan, and I sort of am, I, like, never conceptualized the Bob, you know, the thing, as being, a poltergeist, as being, like, a noisy minor disturbance, but that's totally what it is.
Is that the one that, like, shapeshifts or something?
Yeah, and, like, lives in, like, closets and enclosed spaces, like cabinets, and, like, takes the shape of what you fear.
That is extremely interesting, and, like, what?
Sorry, I was just gonna say it has one of the most emotional scenes in the Harry Potter books, but...
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say that probably, like, people in England watching, like, that was probably something culturally that was, like, very interesting for them, but was just kind of, like, a name, sort of. I'd heard Bogart before, but, like, I didn't really know, like, what that meant. But for that to mean the same thing as Poltergeist, like, if the Bogart in Harry Potter had been named Poltergeist, I guess there was
Philosopher's Stone versus Sorcerer's Stone.
I mean, there are poltergeists in Harry Potter.
Weird. But, anyway.
Yeah.
So the tract housing and the ideal family and the superfluous daughter.
And it's true. The daughter who's, like, there, but then anytime something important happens, she's conveniently at a friend's
Lucy's house, and it's like, good, get gone.
Oh
but yeah, the sort of, like, the important thing happens in the middle of the movie, sort of, as the family's sort of in the middle of turmoil, and the husband who works for, like, the realtor agency meets with his boss, who finds more land that they're going to build on that's going to be on a cemetery. And the dad character's like, are you sure we can just build over this? And he was like, the boss guy's like, yeah, we did it for this place down here, but we just moved all the bodies. Turns out they didn't move all the bodies.
I think he said we moved the cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
Because then the guy was like, you didn't move the bodies, you just moved the headstones. And, like, because he didn't lie, he just, like, was, like, he'd misdirected, sort of.
Yeah, so all of the dead people were still buried underneath all these houses, and were upset that they were put to unrest, basically, and so they got miffed, and they took action.
I feel like that's such an interesting thing to play on, like, humanity's, like super strict attachment to honoring the dead, and, like, because, like, if people found out, and, like, even me thinking, like, if my house was built over, like, a bunch of, like, dead bodies that were just, like, 6 feet below me, like, I would be like, yikes. Like, I wouldn't be pumped. And, like, I think that's, like, I don't know, do you guys get that feeling? Like, do you guys, like, feel creeped out by that? Like,
yeah, I think that would be a little weird.
So if I lived on top of dead bodies, that would suck.
Yeah. Right? And, like, I don't know if it's, like, for me, there's also, like, a respect thing. I'm like, that's a person, or it used to be anyway, like, I don't know, which is just, like, I know that it's just bones, and, like, maybe not even that, but, yeah, I'm a human and have feelings about other humans and humanity and souls and stuff, so.
Which is, like, part of, I think, why, like, Poltergeist and, like, horror movies in general are kind of cool, because it's, like, a very direct confrontation of mortality.
Yeah.
And it's, like, it posits different theories on, like, what will happen to you. Don't go into the light, go into the light, like.
Whoa.
And there's, like, something pretty great about how directly it tries to handle a subject that, like, is inevitably important to anyone who is alive. Because we are very concerned with endings.
Totally.
And so, like, we want to know when that is. And, like, the ending, which is, of course, a euphemism for death, is prolonged by movies like Poltergeist, which suggests that there is some, like, manifestation of whatever energy it is that you uniquely contain. So that's kind of dope, but back to the creepy kid. That little blonde girl, she's great. She's iconic
so
for a reason.
good.
Damn.
She's like, whatever, either natural talent that she had or like whatever direction they were giving her, it was working.
Yeah.
Because I believed her as a little girl, and like as a little girl who said that she saw things, like, because kids do that. Kids like say that they see shit.
Kids are terrible.
Yeah. Kids do weird shit all the time, and
That's another parallel between this and the
Yeah, I
Witch.
was thinking that. Like,
I would not be surprised if, like, without having seen the Poltergeist, any random 3-year-old would go up to the TV and start talking to it. And so,
or like saying that they saw shapes in the static or something, because like that's like a thing that happened.
Literally, no thanks.
but like that. Speaking of the TV static, it is an important thing in this movie because we see a couple of times the national anthem play before the TV cuts out to static.
Which is the most ominous fucking thing in the world.
Dude, it's so, like, imagine at 2, like, or almost 3 in the morning, and, like, and then it cuts to static, and it, like,
That's
dude,
how it's
I
gonna
hate
be for the
it.
next
Like,
couple
why
hours.
is that so scary, though? Like, the dead space, maybe? Like,
Yeah, and, like,
but still, like,
it's that thing that you and I looked up the other day about patterns and, like, when you are provided with, like, a stimulus
pareidolia.
that you, like, can't really discern specific things from, you start to invent, which I think is, like, a huge part of those sorts of superstitions of, like, seeing or hearing things in static, is, like, trying to make cogent something that isn't meant to be.
But I think that the dread associated with, like, the national anthem and then the cut to static is, like, not as associated with, like, the possibility of, like, seeing a face in the static for me. Like,
yeah,
like, there's something just about, like, maybe the suddenness or, like, inflexibility of it that's, like, scary to me. I don't know if that's, like, a shared thing, though, that, like, and I don't know if that's what you were talking about when you said that it was, like,
no,
something.
it's just like a stimulus that you, like, don't know what to do with, and, like, so there's, like, an absence or, like, an emptiness in that, or there's, like, an isolation. I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, on that subject of the TV going to static,
Alex.
It's just like a relic of the past. It's something that happened in 1982, I think, when this movie was released. Not sure how many years after that, but we were all born in 1994, which was, like, when that didn't really happen anymore, and, like, TV went on after dark. Like, TV programming didn't really stop on any channel. And how it just, like, the movie, a very important plot point of the movie is it going dark, and that doesn't happen anymore, and it's, like, sort of weird if you don't have that knowledge about it.
That in the past, there used to just be nothing on the air, and it was just static.
Yeah.
That's, like, that, and I think, the concept of that being, like, a liminal space, is, like, so fucking cool.
Definitely.
Because, like, it totally is.
Definitely.
Like,
A liminal space, while you guys are having that conversation about it, I was like, what is that feeling? And liminal space is 100% it.
yeah. I guess that does definitely have something to do with it for me. I don't know what it is about that noise, though. It scares the shit out of me. I don't know. It, like, fills me with dread. I don't know if that's just me, but...
But yeah, the daughter ends up getting taken by the like, spirits in this great scene where the tree breaks through the window and steals, like, snatches up the little boy and starts to eat him. And while everybody in the family is distracted by that crazy shit happening, the daughter gets, like, sucked up into the closet, and, like, everything in the room gets sucked up into the closet, and then just disappears.
Oh, but the effect for that was, like, so cool, because I could see that, like, the room is rotating, like they were tilting the room.
Oh, yeah.
To make everything fall, but, like, keeping the camera where it was supposed to be or whatever, so you couldn't see, that it was turning, but, like, you could tell, or, like, I was having, like, a really fun time being like, it's so interesting that I could tell by the acceleration of the objects that, like, the angle of the room is changing. I'm a fucking nerd. Blah, blah, blah. But, like, it was fun, so.
but then that happens, and it's sort of, then they like find her in the TV, and like she continues to whisper at the family through the TV, and that's when they cut to them like immediately going to, or not immediately, it seems like it's been like a week or something, or a couple days, when they go to the parapsychologists, and when they come back to the house, they're like, yeah, we don't go in the kids' room anymore, and they open the door and all the shit's just flying around in it.
Terrible effects.
Oh, I loved it.
But it is terrible.
Yeah.
And like that's like part of the fun of this movie is like how dated it is.
Yeah.
And like what it manages to do despite like all of the graphics and like the CGI and the effects being like pretty like substandard, which is just like what you can do with what you have. But like at the same time, like some of that shit was super spooky.
Yeah.
Best scene in the movie, in my opinion, maybe pretty iconic anyway, is Jude tearing his face off in the bathroom mirror.
Not Paul Dano.
Not Paul Dano, yes. Fuck. God damn it, Amy. I thought Paul Dano's daddy, and I hate you for it, because it's definitely your fault.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and it's like clearly a claymation skull with like some kind of unidentified goop serving as the flesh, and it's so sick.
Yeah, it's gnarly. I like it.
Yeah, it's a bit of an acid trip in certain parts.
Dude, I kind of wish I went to the bathroom during that part, so I wish I had seen it. Like,
I bet you can find it on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure.
I even love.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
When they're doing the whole thing, trying to get the daughter out of the weird portal in the house with that like great lady.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, oh my god, she just was so kind, I guess. Like, she was so genuine, maybe, is what I'm looking for.
And then like they pull like.
Oh. The cookies are done.
Quick break.
Cookie break. No time like cookie time.
So my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts, now that we're back at it, was when the mom goes into the portal in the closet looking for the girl, and the dad just like freaks out and starts pulling the rope, even though he was told not to, and like it doesn't really have a negative effect on anything. But anyways, he pulls out a giant skull from the closet,
which I guess is Satan, like.
I don't know. I guess I thought it was more just like the like amalgam of the evil spirits.
Oh.
I did not try to answer a lot of questions in this movie.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I didn't think too hard about it.
Like everything coming out of the hole was Satan.
That's Satan's hole.
So I guess the devil is another connection we can make here between the two.
I loved that big ass skull man. Oh,
Dude,
Mr. Skull
yeah.
Man. I loved how bad the graphics were.
I wanted to say that like the graphics, like, or like the movie was like had a good like nostalgic tone, and then also like a good kind of like almost slapstick like nostalgia. I guess
it has a great sense of humor.
Yeah, it's so
super fun.
yeah, and it probably like they probably knew how bad like graphics were in the 80s. Like they weren't like, wow, that's amazing. I like drew a cartoon sparkly thing on the screen. Like they were like, that kind of looks shitty, but like we don't have anything else. So
man, I think all that stuff looks so cool.
It looks
like,
great.
I mean, like I don't even see it as like a bad effect. I'm just like, that's such a good idea. Like,
oh, I'm like, they took a picture cutout of that thing, and like all I can think about is how it's a picture cutout until like it's the next thing. So that's why I don't like
loves
it.
The Nightmare on Elm Street.
I love the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
Very similar.
There's this great thing that happens a little bit later when the doll is attacking the clown doll. Iconic scene is attacking the little boy, and the mom is trying to get back into that room, and this like skeleton thing comes and like blocks the door. That thing that's blocking the door, I love it. I want one.
Dude, yeah, I was like that like it reminded me of Whiskey, I guess. when she
Whiskey's
really wants to come in. Oh yeah, my cat.
Our mascot.
Yeah. When she, like, wants to, like, but reverse, I guess, because she, like, wants to come in the room so bad, and that monster was like, no, can't enter.
The
It's like the opposite of scratching at the door for an hour.
But yeah, this movie it just sort of goes from, like, beat to beat in, like, this sort of rising action of, like, cool set pieces. Like, you sort of start with the girl, like, talking to the TV, and that's weird, and then the chairs start moving on their own, and then we start getting, like, the more spooky stuff, and we see, like, the whole crazy shit in the closet. But there's one scene that's probably right smack dab in the middle of this movie, after the parapsychologists come to the house for the first time, where they just stop and have a little chit chat about the afterlife for 5 minutes, and it's so boring.
Oh, I kind of liked it
Oh, you
somehow.
did?
I don't remember that.
It's the scene where, like, the little kid, the boy is, like, asleep on the mom, and the mom's, like, drinking with the parent. Here's why I liked it. Because there are so many women in this movie, and they're, like, so genuinely concerned for one another, and there's, like, a huge sense of camaraderie that, like, it just, surpasses in so many ways the relationships between women in, like, modern cinema. And it's, like, so easy. It's so easy to do. Just, like, give powerful women relationships with similarly powerful women. And it's, like, they're just bonded by these circumstances in a way that I found, like, so refreshing and realistic.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that scene, even though I agree it is a little boring.
Yeah, it just sort of drags.
Yeah, I guess I can't remember anything they said, but I do remember them passing the bottle, and that was pretty cool. Passing the flask, I guess. I'm sorry. And just, like, I also enjoyed that the parents were allowed to, like, smoke weed and drink and stuff. Like, they were allowed, like, she was allowed to, like, she could do both. She could be a good mom and also, like, have a sip of whiskey to steady her fucking nerves, because she was, like, also a person and not just a parent. You know? And that was, like, super cool, the depth that each character, or that the parents, I guess, were allowed to have. I guess, I don't know, I can imagine a lot of depth for, like, the little boy, for example, but it's hard to act when you're 8 or something, so.
I think it's very important to note the rating on this movie, which is a PG. There's weed smoking, skull screaming, whiskey drinking, middle fingers flipping.
Oh, that's true.
It's great. It's, like, so solid, but, like,
Sorry,
it's not...
That middle finger scene, the one that...
So irrelevant.
Weird!
It's super weird.
Where, like, the construction workers who are digging the pool in the backyard
God.
are hitting on this fucking 16-year-old girl, and she gives them this weird, like, robotic fuck you gesture.
It's like...
it was the Macarena. She was doing the
Oh
Macarena.
yeah, she was doing the
and then she
Macarena
went like
fuck
that.
you. And it was, like, so...
And the mom, like, saw it and, like, shook
She
her
was
head,
like,
like,
Yeah, the
baby.
construction workers laughed, the daughter laughed, and the mom laughed. It was like, this is disgusting.
Super weird. That's, like, probably I would cut that scene
Yeah.
if
I
I
would
were
cut the
editing
construction
it.
workers. They didn't need to be
Oh
there.
yeah, I mean the only point of the construction workers was to show that they were having a pool being built,
Yeah.
which was, like, kind of a great point later on in the movie, because it's just, like, this standing pit in the backyard, and they're like, oh no, like, what if the kid falls into it?
High and paranoid.
And then, yeah, they keep there's twice in the film where they're worried about the kid falling into it, and then at the end of the movie, mom falls into it.
And there's fucking skeletons in it. Like, oh my god. And she can't get out because it's all, like, mud.
Oh my god, that's, like, my biggest fucking fear.
Is not being able to get
Not
out.
my
like
biggest fear, obviously, but it's, like,
The
a long-standing
one.
fear of mine is, like, not being able to get any traction, which has, like, happened to
Whoa.
me.
For
Which
real?
was, like, super weird. Yeah, one time I was dog sitting, and I lived in this place in Santa Cruz, actually, and we had, like, this big canyon behind our house, and it had just rained, and the dog was just like, oh, I'm a dog, like, I don't have to worry about this, because I got 4 feet on the ground. But me, bipedal and pathetic, was, like, slipping and a sliding.
Oh my god,
And
that's probably...
I feel like that's probably not the first time this happened to me, Probably happened in, like, science camp in, like, 5th grade. Anyway, nobody needed to know that, and now everyone does.
Is that why you hate sand so much?
I fucking hate sand. God.
It's rough and annoying. It gets
everywhere.
I mean, yeah, I hate anything that, like, doesn't, like, that, like...
isn't solid.
That I can't get traction on.
Yeah.
Or that I feel like is, like, endless or unstable.
God.
Anyway, it doesn't matter, but it did happen.
It's interesting to me, so...
Yeah, okay.
But also what's interesting is...
the final joke of the movie, after, like, the motherload of crazy shit happens, where, like, the kids get trapped in the room, everything's spinning around, mom, like, saves them after being stuck in the fucking... What?
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I feel like, did you finish your point about the iconic clown scene? I think you're saying something about the graphics there. Or, like, something that happened when the clown attacked the kid.
I was much more interested in the clown attack getting to, like, the dog at the door.
Yeah, they did.
Or the skeleton
at
the
cool.
door.
Just checking, because I was, like, thinking about the angry clown face, and I was like, did Alex say anything about that? So sorry, please continue.
No,
Final gag.
So, yeah, they do all this crazy shit. Mom saves the day. Dad shows up in the nick of time for them all to leave. Right as the house implodes on itself, which is great. And then they're at the Holiday Inn, and they're just all defeated, walking to the room. Dad can't find the key. Son has it. They walk in the door, and then they shove the TV out the door. And that's the end of the movie.
No, they shut the door. You think it's the end of the movie. Then they open it, shove the TV out, close the door. Yeah.
So, great moment.
It's just like all this batshit stuff happens, and then it just, like, lets you breathe, and then it lets you laugh.
Oh, man.
And then it sends you home, gives you a nice pat on the back.
Dang, yeah. I was like, there's your happy ending, folks.
Which is, like, part of the great, like, the joy of the movie is, like, how pragmatic these people are about their huge problem, and how they're, like, all very... It's just so realistic in some ways. And even, like, the relationships are realistic, which makes the impassable graphics, like, just part of the fun.
Yeah, the, like, acceptance of their situation, and that, like, the acceptance and then, like, launch into, like, problem solving, I guess. But not even that, just, like, even, like, they accept it and, like, incorporate it almost, because, like, they've been talking to her through the kid through the TV, and they, like, have a pattern of life now, like, as we, like, step back into their lives, like, the week later when the parapsychologists come by, like, they have, like, a new way of living that still keeps their daughter in the family. They're not, like, grieving and trying to move on now. They're like, no, like, we're changing our entire lifestyle. We're gonna be the, like, they're not even thinking outside. They're not even like, we're the weird family now. They're like, I want to talk to my daughter. Like, it's just, like, so clear, and, like, so, like, instead of freaking out and just, like, crying all the time, they're, like, trying to do something about it and trying to, like, accept it, I guess. And that's...
So where do we land on this?
Man. I'm gonna give it a 7. Because what did I give a 6 to something last week? Whatever we watched last week, I think both of my ratings.
Was,
Big Bad Wolves and...
You gave Eternal Sunshine a 6.
Yep. And I enjoyed this more than that by a little bit. I think it's, like, such a classic movie. It scared me as a child. It made me laugh and appreciate art as an adult, and I couldn't ask for more than that from the budget and the scope of this film.
So then, like, what's your 10? Like,
we definitely talked about my 10. But that's to say that it's non-existent. Like, my 10 is, like, a unicorn. But I think I said my 9 was, like, It Follows. But even then, like, that seems up for debate. I mean, internally. Anyway, does it matter?
Oh, no, I mean, I'm just, like, thinking, because, like, or wondering what
I consider to be the pinnacle of film.
Well, no, like, what happened, like, because I didn't hear a lot from you during this conversation about, like, what you didn't like about it, so I don't know what's, like, bringing down its score.
Oh, I mean, it's like, it's not a 9 or a 10. Like, the
What?
cinematography is
Okay.
like, is pretty amateur, and like, it's not thoughtfully constructed, and there's a lot of things that like go unexplained, and they don't necessarily like need to, but it doesn't seem to me like something that had
Okay.
a lot of intention behind the storytelling.
It was like fun, but not.
Yeah, it's just
Artful,
it's fun.
sort of,
It's
yeah.
like, but I know that it's not anything like too highbrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 7.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Anyway, do you want to do yours?
Sure. I'm gonna land this one at 8. I think that this movie is just like super iconic, and I definitely agree where you say it lands in like more fun. But I really like all the characters. There's only one part of the movie that like really dragged for me.
Oh, the cookies.
And yeah, just the way that like as the movie was going on, I was like, I've seen this in The Conjuring, and I've seen this in Insidious, and I've seen this in this movie. Just like how many horror movies like borrow things from this movie to like make that like are just super good story elements
Yeah.
and good horror elements.
It lays a lot of groundwork.
Yeah, it does.
That opening scene is so good too. Like, we're at the end now, and we didn't talk about it, but it just like establishes such a strong tone
Mhm.
of like anticipation. But yeah, it's a fun fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I can't like take it much more seriously than that. But I like definitely see absolutely what you mentioned about all of the, I mean, Stranger Things even.
Oh, yeah,
it's like-
definitely.
It's like which is hot right now. And like something that we noted while we were watching the movie is how much nostalgia and like specific tropes it plays upon and lends to modern, not remakes, but
Derivations,
really?
I think.
Derivatives? Anyway, it's great, and you can see it being great in other things that are also great.
I think you're right about derivatives. I don't think derivation is a thing. It's like too many verbs in there. You're verbing it too many times, I think.
Reverb.
Because derive would be the verb. Like, not
Welcome
you don't
to the grammar
derivate
club!
something. Anyway, I'm not trying to correct you. I'm like just talking to myself, sorta.
So what's your score?
Yeah, so I remember like when we were introducing ourselves and like kind of talking about what we liked in movies, I was saying like, I just kind of like to have a good time. Like, I just like to have fun. And then I kind of like thought back on that and I was like, is that really like me? And after watching this movie, it totally is. I just want to have fun. And I had such a good time. This is a 10 for me.
All right.
Genuinely, it wasn't artful at all. Or, I mean, it was in like some ways, but like you guys are right. Like, it didn't have that like kind of higher appreciation for like what film is, I guess, but it was like such a good story and the world was amazing and I was like totally immersed and I don't think I have any complaints about it. So
Nice.
yeah, 10.
Turn.
So on to The Witch.
Vivi.
Oh my
Son
god,
of
yeah, I
bitch.
can't believe we only have done one movie. It's taken so long because of my cookies.
Bars.
My cookie bars.
I loved The Witch.
Were you
That's-
bewitched?
Oh.
I was bewitched.
So sorry.
Um,
That should have gotten a worse reaction. Y'all should have thrown stones at me.
burnt you at the stake, perhaps.
Yeah, accuse me of being a witch.
From the moment that like this movie started, that's like the way that the title was designed was really good. Just I was like, I was in. I was hooked. And then I was just like ready to be taken along for the ride, and I was.
Were you engrossed?
I was super into this movie. I took so many pages of notes, but I never wanted to look away from the screen.
Wow.
And yeah, I loved I was really into all the characters, and I was into the drama.
Yeah.
The drama of it all.
Yeah, I was like.
How did you feel about the pacing?
Maybe we should get the premise down first.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was. I felt like it was.
Deliberately paced.
It was deliberately paced. It was slow, but that didn't bother me. I felt like the pacing. I was in for it.
Dude, okay, I just had a thought before we go into this movie real quick that, like, if we all watched these movies, like, individually, because Alex, just for the listeners know, Alex watched this movie separately from Michaela and I feel like when you're listening in a group, you have, like, a different outcome with your perception, sort of, like...
Definitely.
It's kind of molded by, like, how you feel like the other people are perceiving it, or for me, anyway, that's true, and so I wonder, like... Because Michaela and I had a very different experience with this movie.
Yeah, I definitely think that who and how many people you're watching it with changes the experience.
Yeah. Anyway, we should do an episode sometime where we have all watched the movies separate from each other and haven't talked about them at all.
Yeah. So yeah, hitting the points of this movie, we are in early America. Where when in a Puritan community, and we're seeing a family being banished from this township for a very vague reason, some idea of heresy,
breaking the Christian law, essentially not being the right kind of Christian.
Sorry, I was about to talk I knew what I was talking about, but I don't. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I thought it was they were. Fuck, I should know more about religion. I thought they were Jehovah's Witness. And, maybe they were, the first sort of... Not the first sect ever, but, they were
not
separate. Well, they were claiming that, their mode of Christianity was the right way to be doing it. And that's why they were dissenting. Was that. I don't... But, see, I don't know enough to know what I'm talking about, but that was my take on it.
Very interesting.
Because they were, praising Jehovah. And that seemed like what the contention was at the opening scene between, which is great. What a good, unsettling opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's seemed almost like a courtroom, not really.
Yeah.
Where a town hall.
Yeah, the town hall, yeah.
And you, see all of these fucking characters, and every single one of them is visually upsetting for some reason or another. Really creepy, very tonally establishing. So they get the whole family uproots and moves to kind of the middle of nowhere. Yeah,
in a great little moment that where they go out to the middle of nowhere, stand in front of this plot of land, and then we jump to when there's a house and a farm built on that little plot of land. So we don't see them struggling through any of that. Mm-hmm. We just see a little while after they've settled down, which I think is interesting. But yeah, then while their teenage daughter Thomason is watching the baby and playing peekaboo, she closes her eyes for probably 2 seconds and opens them up, and the baby's gone.
Great.
Super great.
You're what could be that fast? Nothing natural.
Mm-hmm. And the family sort of blames it on, or the dad sort of blames it on a wolf, and the mother is just hardcore blaming Thomason for it. Just it's your fault. You were watching the baby and it's gone. How'd you let this happen? Just relentless. And the dad is the family's in sort of dire straits. They're in a bad way. Their crops aren't doing very well. They don't have a whole lot of money. And so they're trying their best to survive in the American wilderness. And so the mom doesn't want anybody going out into the woods, and the dad is selling the mom's silver cup that is very her prized possession, just so that they can survive. It's just causing the mom to get more angry and frightened, especially towards Thomason.
Mm-hmm. Who like takes just the brunt of the whole. Her name's Thomason.
Yeah.
I keep in my head. I say Tomlinson because of that One Direction man, which is just so worthless.
Yeah.
I keep saying Thomasina in my head because that's a movie about a cat who they thought was a boy named Thomas and then found out it was a girl and named it Thomasina.
Oh my god, cis people writing trans characters.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Also, like, shout out to Kendall for that one because I've never seen the movie, but she, like, grew up with it, so it's, like, one of her, like, little movies that she loves, and so... Anyway, this one's for you, Kendall.
Yeah, and so
an eerie fucking plot of land. Like the whole like movie's aesthetic is like very bleak and sort of washed out and like consistent. And there's like some sense of danger around the woods. Like you're not supposed to go there, and like that's such a Western move to like. And it's such a deep-rooted tradition to oppose civilization and wilderness as being good and evil, which is, like, fucking classic Scarlet Letter, Crucible.
Damn.
Yeah, and,
yeah, Crucible, heavy connections to this movie.
And we get two or three really weird shots right after the baby is stolen, where we see the baby and there's, like, a man there.
Is that a man?
It was an old woman.
Was it an old woman?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes more sense it was an old woman. I just thought I saw a penis. But, who, like takes a knife to the baby. And then we see, like, another, maybe the same naked old woman.
It is.
Doing some, like, covering herself, probably in the baby's blood.
It's in the baby to make a flying potion, according to Wikipedia.
What?
That's some extrapolation.
Yeah.
A flying potion?
To, like, make herself fly, I guess. But the next thing we see is her laying, like, on the ground, right? So...
Mm-hmm. And then we get the beautiful shot of the moon with a bird silhouetted in front of it.
Wow. I'm so glad you were appreciating those shots because I did not do as good a job at just like appreciating it and like being absorbed
like,
in it.
Every one of those,
she
like,
chopping up that baby.
That's good.
She killed that thing.
And yeah, we get the dad and the boy in the woods. I could go beat by beat, and I kind of really want to in this movie because then we get the scene where the kid is in the woods with his dad, and they're like setting out traps to hunt animals. And the boy is just like, did the baby go to hell? If I die, am I gonna go to hell? Just like not knowing the rules of like what religion is and just being totally afraid of it.
Oh my god, his panic was so like, I had that when I was a kid. I was like, even in the 14 whatever, the fuck 17 whatever.
No.
Like children were like, am I gonna go to hell? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and then the dad being like, I mean, I love the fuck out of you, but I cannot tell you what God is gonna do, so sorry, but like, he gets to choose, and I can't do anything about it, and nobody can, so you just have to like try to accept that. And it's like, what a concept to have to teach to like however old he is, like 10, 11, 12, I don't know.
And it's like the whole thing with their form of Christianity is that they are bad. Like, humans are innately bad, and there's nothing they can do about it, and every action that they do leads them to sin, and they just hope that God will forgive them. And like, because that's all their prayers say.
Yeah,
is like,
I suck.
Forgive us for all of our sins. Like, today I did this, and I had this thought, and it's just like, it's gonna lead me to a path of temptation to the devil. And they all firmly believe it. They're super devout. Yeah.
That's like my anxiety in like, but like in religion form, which is like, everything I do leads me to sin against my friends instead of my God, I guess. But anyway, just a little fun fact about me and my mental health for everybody out there.
yeah, and there's this rabbit that appears, and every time the rabbit appears, something goes wrong.
That
Love
fucking
that
rabbit. It's the
rabbit.
devil. That rabbit. Because Black Phillip didn't talk until the fucking rabbit was there in the goat house.
Black Phillip did too talk.
According to the, I mean, yeah, I probably.
I mean, I don't
but-
trust those fucking little gremlins either.
Dude, they were
Yeah.
the
They're
worst.
so
Oh,
annoying.
yeah.
I wanted the kids to die.
Yeah, I was like, shut the fuck up. Just listen to one person. Sorry.
Yeah, because then the fucking little girl is being super annoying, and Thomason's like, yeah, well, I'm a witch, and you should shut up, just to scare her and get her to shut up.
I'd be annoying too
They're
if
like-
my name was Mercy.
Obviously.
Oh my God. I kind of loved her name, actually. Like
Ah.
Jonas and Mercy. Like, I don't know. I liked it. Anyway.
And then after that, we go to Caleb and Thomason going out in the woods on their own for, like, not really a clear reason. Like, they have their reason for it, but it's never really given to us.
Yeah, it seems like Caleb's plan. Like, he has some plan to get Thomason to stay at their farm because the children overhear the parents talking about how it's, like, high time that they gave Thomason to another family to be, like, a servant or whatever, which is such a shitty thing to hear.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, and it's basically, like, it was them. I've read a lot of, like, stuff about people having to, like, send their kids away. Like, fiction, I guess. But, like, that's so that they have one less mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Like, they're just trying to figure out how to get rid of, like, people to feed.
And it's like that, and that they're, like, very spiteful toward her at this point, so, like, they would pick her over, like it's like
Yeah.
a two birds with one stone. Because the
Yeah,
mom
I mean,
wants
the
her
mom's
out of, I think,
motivated,
like,
yeah.
that crystallizes the mom's distaste for her.
Yeah.
Which is, like, so...
But the dad proposes it, I think. I think the dad says, like, there's some good families. Sorry to interrupt you again. Go ahead.
I don't recall. So,
Sorry.
Yeah. And then when they're out there, the rabbit shows up again in the woods. The dog goes out and chases it, and, like, everybody gets spooked. Thomason gets knocked out on the floor of the woods, and Caleb runs off after the dog, which the dog dies, unfortunately.
so
And then
brutal.
he stumbles upon, like, a hut in the woods. And this, like, a very pretty young woman steps out of the hut. And sort of, like, lures him in. And then a spooky hand reaches out and grabs him.
And is that her spooky hand?
I think it's her
ostensibly.
spooky hand, yeah.
Yeah, which
Like,
is, like,
she's,
so
like-
interesting.
This witch is presenting herself as, like, a beautiful young woman and is hiding perhaps her, like haggy witch body. I kept thinking every time I saw one of the, like, the one of the witches, I was like, hag, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's, like, a mean thing for me to think.
No, that's the archetypal image
Yeah.
of, like, the witch is the warty, haggy, wrinkly, which is, like, super weird and, like, misogynistic to come to, like, spell it out that way.
Yeah, that's why I was worried about it every time I was thinking about that. It's like,
Yeah.
okay to think about.
It's a terrible, terrible stereotype.
Mhm.
Well, they break it at the end when
Not all
Thomasina becomes a
witches.
witch, so.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
You keep calling her Tomlinson or whatever.
Am I saying
Thomason?
it wrong?
Thomason?
Tomlinson? I don't know what you're saying. Wait.
I thought I was saying it right.
Oh.
But that's okay.
I think we're all saying our own thing, which is, like, I love that more anyway.
Words are made up.
Yeah,
The
dude.
points don't matter.
Names are, like, literally just sounds too, like...
But yeah, Thomas ends up. They all end up winding back up at the house, and Thomas is, like, had been lost for several hours, and then he just shows up completely.
Caleb.
Caleb.
Right? Did I say
Caleb.
Thomas?
Yes. Who's not in this movie.
No, yeah. Caleb has been lost in the woods and shows up back at the house completely naked and pale and, like,
And
wounded.
Thomason is the one. Thomason.
Yeah, Thomason is the one who finds them.
Tomlinson.
And they're like wrapping his wounds and saying prayers, and he's just sort of like muttering, and then he sort of just stays passed out.
They're like bloodletting him too.
Yeah, they
That happens,
bloodlet him.
which was fun.
I can't believe that was like, you know what? You got too much blood.
No, it's to get the bad blood out.
I mean, I can't believe that it was like ever an
Yeah,
accepted
right?
practice.
That you would like hurt somebody who is sick. Like, hey, your body's like not doing good. We're gonna make it do worse.
Yikes.
Yeah, and the mom continues to like blame, like be like, I think that you're a witch, Thomason.
And Mercy and shithead.
Yeah,
Jonas.
Mercy and Jonas are like, she's a witch. She told me herself.
And they're terrible.
Yeah, which is like, and
Caleb
they
is
like
dying and they're pretending to die.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's just like the way Kid Works doesn't understand the severity of the situation, just being a shithead.
Or
but,
they're
like,
possessed by the devil.
Mm-hmm.
It is ambiguous for sure.
Yeah. It's
sorry.
gnarly, and because of the kids protesting, it makes the mom more suspicious, and the dad is like still on Thomason's side for the most part.
Kinda.
Until Caleb does like some super writhy shit, and then professes his like love to God in an almost sexual way, where he's like,
kinda.
"Let me like be on your lap," and like it like
pretty
says like,
weird. But that's like shit from the Bible. Like,
Yeah.
is it?
yeah, kiss your mouth with my mouth or whatever. Like, that's a
Oh.
real fucking. That's scripture, which is super weird. It's like
Dude,
pretty
people
gay.
just want to fuck Jesus, I'm saying.
It's.
like,
I mean, unfortunately, there's a whole South Park episode about this.
yikes.
Where they like form a Christian rock band and they just like take like modern like love, like R&B sex songs, and they just swap out girl for Jesus, and it's like pretty funny. No offense, I guess I'm offending myself and my own sensibilities.
I know, I was gonna say, like, I wouldn't have said anything if I had known that South Park had already done it, but because I didn't want to, like, accidentally affiliate myself with that, but also, like, the concept is pretty hilarious.
It's funny
Well,
because it works.
Yeah, there's that scene where the mom explains a dream she had when she was a teenager about like being with Jesus and like loving him like she's never loved any other man, and that I considered that might have been a sex dream, or like even considered the possibility that like maybe people who think about Jesus a lot have Jesus sex dreams.
Man, there's a lot of stuff percolating in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, not explicitly addressed, but, like, adds to the implicit tension of this, like, family dynamic. And that's pretty cool. I think, and this is, like, a thought I had partway through the movie, around the point where we're, like, at in describing the plot, where the dad is, like, super mean to Thomason, and, like, I was just, like, crushed, because that's, like, my least favorite thing to see. And I think that part of what the movie posits is, like, one of the hardest things to be as a teenage girl.
Dude.
Like, one of the most, like, stressful, isolating, mistrustful positions to be in is a girl, a young girl who's, like, being scapegoated for everything and, like, has no reasonable defense. And that, I think, is, like, crystallized partly by the weird incesty kind of thing where, like, Caleb is
checking out her titties.
Yeah, and, like, and the mom is like, you seduced him, and it's just like, sorry I had a body.
Oh my
Sucks.
god, that's real.
Yeah,
she had no idea it was even happening. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to touch this. There was a way that somebody sort of analyzed the way that Caleb was sort of like lusting for, not lusting for it necessarily, but just sort of like staring at Thomason's breasts. I read a description where somebody was saying that like this is a time in his life where like he's developing some form of like sexual identity, but no, like there is no person who he can like form those ideas onto, and the closest person he could do that is his sister, which only just leads us to sort of the scene where he is with the witch who looks young and beautiful. It just sort of like gives us an idea that he's at an age where he would be sort of lusting after women. And it is like weird, and it is weird, but I think it like fits into this movie.
Oh yeah.
Without being like very weird.
Yeah. I like had the
it
same
makes sense,
rationalizing thought.
Yeah.
Where I was like, well, I mean, of course. Like, this is who
That's
he's
the only, like, not mom titty, so, like...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jesus. It's mom titties or witch titties. Pick.
Damn, I guess witch titties, though. I mean, but there's, like, fresh baby on those, so I don't know.
Take a bath.
Fly later, I guess. I don't know.
So...
Oh, I wanted to
yeah,
say
we
something.
get to... Oh, what?
But I forget. So
We can come...
never
if you
mind.
have the thought, we can come back to
Okay.
it. So, yeah, the dad... all this shit's happened, and the dad's like, okay, Thomason, gotta level with me. Are you a witch? And Thomas is just like, are you fucking serious? The kids are the one who've been saying that Black Phillip has been talking to them. And so, like, as a response of, like, extreme, like, anger and paranoia, and fear of God, the dad locks Thomason and both the kids in the little goat house.
He's basically like, alright, well, if none of you tell me what the fuck's going on, then all of you are cursed. Like,
yeah.
Whoever wins the battle at the end of the night gets to be my child, I guess. Something.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and then, let's see. Oh, one thing was that the dad cuts wood when he's angry.
Okay,
There's like
yes.
3 or 4 moments when he's just like not in a good mood, and he's just goes. They show him chopping the wood, which I liked all those moments. I don't really know why, but
I agree.
just like doing that as a sort of way to vent out his
Made
problems.
me want to chop wood.
Yeah.
And Thomason, fuck me, calls him out on it, and it's great.
Yeah.
She's like, you can't do anything for this family except chop excessive amounts of firewood, you shithead.
Which he then gets.
That's the point I'm about to make.
Sorry, go, do it.
And I thought it, and there's, like, some very clear symbolism there that I had to, like, consider when, spoiler alert, the dad dies. The goat
Black rams right into
I
him.
love Black Phillip. He's my favorite character.
Black
He had
Phillip,
a pretty good voice,
by the way,
too.
goat.
Black Phillip, he's a goat. Yeah, he's an all-black goat. And he fucking just rams the dad into his giant, like, a totally unreasonably sized stack of firewood. And I was like, done in by folly. So
Yeah.
I, like, think that the firewood's, like, kind of symbolic of, like, his own impotence and, like, inability to do things productively and, like, inability to have honest communication with his fucking family. So it just, like, stacks up, like, his own misgivings and, like, misdeeds and mistreatment of people. It's a lot of it, like, it compounds upon itself until it undoes him. Which is great. Go Black Phillip.
Yeah, and there's that moment after he locks the kids in the goat house where he's, like, praying, begging to God. He's like, I'm the one who's led this family astray. I'm the shit one. Save my family, God. Like, do whatever you can to just make my family, like, better. I don't care what you do to me.
Yeah.
Damn, I wonder if, like, God was like, you know what? Thomason is, like, the only homie in this family. Like, I don't want any of these other people to be there because they all kind of...
do anything.
That's true, except for Caleb. What? Oh, but he was, like, lusting, I guess, and that was, like, a sin or something. But, like, poor baby.
I guess it
like,
depends on what you... Yeah, like, the definition of sin is, like, super hard to pinpoint.
Yeah.
In this movie where breathing too hard is a sin.
Yeah.
I mean,
basically, like, you're gonna find sin because you're looking for it. So
I wrote down in my notes at one point, like, why should you honor thy mother and father if thy mother and father don't honor you?
Totally.
Like, if these people just hate you and want to get rid of you, then, like, why?
All bets are off.
Yeah.
Which is why
then that night, there's a witch in the goat house with them.
that is scary.
Yeah, it is. She just laughs. And then we wake up. Oh, we also get Caleb and baby Samuel in the house.
That was such a good scene.
After they're dead, and Mom sees them, and she's just so happy to see them, and she breastfeeds the weird ghost baby, and Caleb's like, Mother, I have a book for you.
And it turns out there's just a crow sucking at the titty.
And she's just sitting there laughing with nothing in her lap, and there's just a crow biting at her.
Oh, man.
And when they wake up the next morning, they show the mom, and she's got like a bloody stain on her shirt where her nipple is, which is just gnarly. And then,
like, I don't know if you're gonna say it, but
what?
like, I mean, you must assume that because the book, which I didn't realize, I didn't put together until we got to the end, but like, you like sign your name in a book to make a deal with the devil.
That's what Thomason
did.
says.
Yeah.
At the beginning,
right?
Where she's like, "I signed the devil's book. I danced with you in the woods."
And I assume that that's what the book is that Caleb had. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like it's definitely the contract where you give the devil.
Yeah.
And your soul. But yeah, we walk outside, see the goat house destroyed, the white goat like gutted, and the two kids gone, and Thomason's just laying there. And that's when Dad gets impaled by Black Phillip. And Mom comes out and is like, "You did this."
Goes on a tirade against Thomason.
Yeah, just starts beating the shit out of her. There's a knife in range, and Thomason cuts Mom's face, and Mom starts choking Thomason, and Thomason just hacks away at her mom.
Dude.
And kills her.
It was just amazing, like, the desperation and obvious, like, because she wasn't trying to, like, kill her mom in the first strike. She was just trying to get her mom to stop.
Mm-hmm.
It was obvious to me that that's what was happening. And then she, like, realized that in order to get her to stop, she had to, like, deal way more severe damage. Like, she had to take her mom out, and the only way to do that was, like, essentially to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, there wasn't, like, any way to really, like, heal a knife wound.
Yeah.
Quickly. Can't, like, stitch that back up really quick. Hang a liter of
O-neg.
Yeah, O-neg.
And then,
So, yeah, but it was, like, all obviously in self-defense. And I wonder, like, that's, like, also a commandment, like, don't murder.
mm-hmm.
And her, like, having to kill her mom. And then, like, the next thing she does is, like, talk to Black Phillip and be like...
Yeah.
There's, like, a little bit of an interlude that I'm, like, interested in.
Where she goes inside and takes off, like,
Most of her clothes.
Most of her clothes just for the, I don't remember what it's called, just the under thing. The shift. And just, like, sits there and falls asleep at the table.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just
and then,
into it.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that reminds me. It cuts to black to signify that time is passing, but before the image comes back, we hear chimes.
Yes.
And, like, in mythology, chimes are, like, a warning that an evil presence is passing by. Or
We gotta get rid of all
that
our fucking
similar,
chimes.
something to that effect, yeah.
That's so creepy.
Because then, that's when she walks out to the goat house and talks to Black Phillip.
She's like, "I conjure thee."
Yeah.
It's like a decision that she makes.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Well, got nothing else."
Yeah. And right when she turns away, Black Phillip is like, "Hello, like what can I give? What can I give to you?" And his voice is so cool,
like so smooth.
Uh-huh.
Like
And
it
like,
is the devil's voice for sure. Like,
and there's that really wonderful like thing that happens to the very left of the screen where you see his like hooves transformed into like shoes.
It's like a very nice outfit.
Yeah.
And you never see him clearly, but you can see his outfit, and it's good. It's
very
he
stylish
looks
devil.
good.
Him
And
being
it's like very aristocratic, and it's
Yeah.
all like
Yeah.
leather and black.
real. And him being like, do you want to live deliciously? Like, I was like, yeah, I do.
Just like know nothing but hardship and like
Yeah,
like the people that are supposed to protect her unconditionally
Yeah.
turning on her, and like so it's fucking all caution to the wind. Like yeah, give me the decadence. I've got nothing left.
Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
she-
why not? Like, what's the harm in selling your soul to the devil? Like, what happens?
Eternal
What is-
damnation.
Yeah, doesn't she ask that? She said she like asks what he wants from her.
Mm-hmm.
What is his answer? Do you remember?
I
I
don't.
think he says
I don't
take
think,
off your shift.
Yeah, he doesn't answer. He just says take off your shift.
Hmm.
And
Which is
sign your
like-
name in the book, which I think
Yeah.
she's like, I can't write my name. Oh, he
He's
doesn't
like,
even
I'll
ask her
guide
that.
your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the removing of the shift is very interesting because that's like the shift is you hiding from God. Like that's something that's still sort of a thing in like Mormon communities where like people are sort of not always but almost always wearing an undershirt to hide their bodies. And so like if you're gonna like turn your back on God, then you're gonna like go all in and like remove that last little bit that's
Show
holding
him
her
how
on.
naked you are.
Yeah.
Look at me, God.
And then Black Phillip, as Goat Black Phillip, leads her into the woods to a circle of witches chanting around a campfire, and then they all start floating. And then Thomason starts floating, and it's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's empowering. You feel
Dude.
like glad for her.
The first time she smiles, I think, like, or genuinely
Yeah.
laughs, like,
Totally. Wow. Yeah.
damn, it's almost like,
I was a little
If,
bored when I was watching this movie, but in retrospect, it's great.
yeah.
Sorry.
It was very artfully made, yeah. Like, she was kind of already living in eternal damnation, so, like, if she can get that moment of decadence, then, like,
That's true.
Gotta take it.
yeah. Just removes your hope, but at least you know what you got, like...
I think like part of what prevented me from engaging with this movie too fully is that I didn't really care for any of the characters, and like I had like rage on Thomason's part because of her like how unfairly she was being portrayed. But like the mom is just like in hysterics the whole time and just like very cruel and
Shrewd.
Yeah, and like the dad I don't know, he's like an okay dude. The best thing about him, his voice. He's just like, it's so deep and like commanding, and I could just listen to it for a while, for like an hour and a half maybe. Yeah, I just didn't like care for the family, and I like so the tension wasn't really there for me.
I cared a ton about Caleb and Thomason, I think, and that was...
I
It's like where most of my investment was.
loved this family. Like even I mean, like I definitely like was super annoyed by Mercy and Jonas, but like as family members, as children, like they are children. That's how children fucking do. They're fucking annoying, and all they're gonna do all day is play. But like I liked Thomason. I was going in with like I knew that the mother was gonna be against Thomason the whole time, so that might have like prepared me a little more for it. But like I even liked the way that dynamic worked. I don't know exactly what it was about it, but like just like the mother's willingness to believe that like there's a witch about, and like and the dad's sort of just strong desire to protect the family at any cost, and like I almost imagine that like a different writer / director would have had the dad be like more abusive, because it's like, oh, this is the 1600s and the dads were the patriarchs and blah, 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 blah. But like he never raises a hand to his family. Like the mom hits the dad at one point, and he's just like, he like still catches her before she faints, like immediately after that happens, and he just wants his family to be okay, despite the fact that he can't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally. All that's there. I just wasn't like buying into it because it's like such a. There's like so many unfamiliar elements to like because they like speak in a dialect that's sort of unfamiliar. I'm like very thankful for closed captioning.
Oh my God,
because I would not have had any comprehension.
I was doing fine for a little while, but I think I just had to turn them on when around the time that Mercy had come on screen and started talking. I was like, I have no idea what you're saying.
Enunciate. Goblin.
Yeah, I just feel like I put every piece of like token that I gave this movie, I got back. Like I got repaid in full, if not sometimes more.
That's great. I'm like so glad you enjoyed it that much.
Yeah, I was like, I was super into this movie.
Yeah, I feel like I would have had a different experience if I watched it alone. Like I can imagine it being like more engrossing and like, yeah, maybe like that would have been a solid idea for our Fright Week. This like special episode, like where I think the instantaneous shift of any perspective is if you watch a scary movie alone, it becomes an entirely different movie. And I think that maybe we should have watched them all in isolation. But that's not exactly true. Poltergeist is fun with friends.
Yeah. There's movies that are like good to watch in a group of people.
This one's very high art though, so I wouldn't recommend it for.
Oh,
this isn't for your party.
It's really not.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to say, have either of you seen? I think it's called Antichrist by what's his name, Leon.
Is that Von Trier?
Yeah, Lars
von Trier. Have you seen it?
I haven't.
This movie reminds me a ton of that movie. Like pacing wise, like the connection to nature, and like sort of the like evil, inherent in. I don't know, there's like a lot of weird like devil like symbolism and stuff. It's like, I mean, if you guys liked this movie, I would recommend Antichrist.
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about Mr. Von Trier.
And yeah, isn't that movie like like a much more sexual affair? Not that I've seen it, but
it has like, it discusses sex and there is like a sex scene and like genital mutilation also. So
yeah,
that's in there.
Bit of a different caliber.
I've heard.
I mean, it's just like more intensely going into like the like the sin and the punishment sort of like being overt, I guess.
Totally.
I've heard a lot of like good and mixed things about Antichrist and some of other of Lars von Trier's movies, but like I really don't support that guy because of his like ideals, like the way that he like represents a lot of women in like some of the movies of his that I have seen, and some of the things that he personally has said off screen, sort of make me not trust him.
I agree.
Want to support him, like
I
a Woody
still
Allen
think the
sort
movie.
of person.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I still think the movie is like good.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Like separate from him.
Yeah, I think that.
Which I know that.
I think that Midnight in Paris is good, separate from Woody Allen, but I don't think I'm gonna watch another Woody Allen film. But yeah. Anyways, who wants to slap a rating on this one?
Oh yeah.
Damn. I was like, I decided on a 7 earlier, and then we talked about it, and I was like, this is pretty good. I want to, like, can I do a halves?
You can
is
do
that
halves.
okay?
Amy's been doing halves.
I'm going to do a 7.5. Mark that bad boy down. I just don't want to give up the 8. Have I given anything an 8? I don't know. Probably not.
So.
No, it's because I'm fucking picky. Nope, 7.5 though. If I watched it alone, 8. But I didn't, so that's not the timeline we're operating in.
Oh, but, well, you gave... What movie was this? You gave a 9. You gave Girl Walks Home Alone a 9.
That's because it's an excellent
It is
fucking
an excellent
film.
movie.
You got your rating locked and loaded, Amy?
Yeah, 7.
Okay.
it was pretty cool. I had an okay time.
Nice.
7
I
out of 10.
love that.
I might go back on this in the future, but I'm going to give this movie 10 Broken Commandments out of 10.
Damn.
Worth it for the joke, even.
I was like so engrossed. I loved all the people in it. Yeah, I loved the way that it looked, and I got super excited by all the witch stuff. I was just in this movie. I came out of it and I was just like, that was good. I couldn't think of anything else. Was like, that was really good.
Nice. You have total freedom to retract in the future.
Yeah, which I might do. I don't think that any rating is particularly solid after only one viewing.
Mm-hmm.
But right now in this moment, I feel like this movie is a 10.
Amazing. That's a wrap.
Bring it
All right.
home, boys.
We're taking a little cookie break, and then we'll be right back.
Please, that we are all waiting.
Please, that we are all waiting.
Shut the fuck up.
What are we gonna watch next week?
Good question. I'm so glad you asked. I want to subject us all to The Wrestler, starring Mickey Rourke. Yep.
Okay.
Is that an old movie?
It's not too old.
It's like 2010, around 2010.
Whoa, for real? Is
Yeah.
that the one with Steve Carell in it?
No, that's Foxcatcher.
Oh.
I think that's about boxing?
I've never fucking heard of that.
It's supposed to be really
You
good.
tell me the office man engaged in fisticuffs?
Never
Never heard of anything of the sort.
The dude from The Office. Yeah.
Is he not? He is the dude from
Yeah.
Fuck, thank fuck. I've never seen The Office.
Oh, for real?
You
probably wouldn't
I've
like
ducked
it.
and dodged.
Yeah.
Just like I've stung like a butterfly, floated like a bee. Don't correct me. I know what I've done.
Where can you find that film?
You can find The Wrestler on HBO Go alongside other classics like The Iron Giant and
The
Dead
Martian.
Poets Society.
Oh, Dead Poets Society.
Oh god. Oh, Captain by Captain.
Actually, I'm gonna change. Okay, I was gonna say Heather's, but I'm changing mine to Dead Poets Society.
Amazing.
Which you can find on
HBO Go.
Along with other gems such as The Martian,
And
The Wrestler,
The Iron
and
Giant.
The Iron Giant. Brought to you by
Charmin.
HBO Go
Totino's
Claire's
Pizza Rolls.
My dad.
and viewers like you.
Speaking of viewers like you,
While you watch us do this.
I feel like
Yes,
this
please.
is the funniest thing that's ever happened.
thank you for watching us talk on YouTube at the Netflix Club on YouTube. We're also not on SoundCloud anymore, but we are on Podbean, which again, the Netflix Club, and on iTunes, and on Twitter, _Netflix Club, and we're
What if it was
on,
like underscore typed out? Wouldn't that be just like
That
a
would be
wild
But it's
ride
just
of
long.
simple.
throw people for?
That would be
that
super
loop.
long
Yeah.
handle, but yeah, we're there.
Too much
We're on
to handle.
Facebook and Tumblr at under the name The Netflix Club. Please feel free to reach out to us on any of those platforms. Maybe you have a good idea of what movie to watch, or tell us what you thought about one of the movies that we watched.
Yeah, just give us like feedback, dude. Like, we just want to hear from you. Know that our message is like reaching our fellow humans out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, blink twice if you're alive.
Yeah, tell us what you thought.
Blink
Keep
3
on-
times.
keep on
for I love
listening.
you.
And have a good week.
Have a good Halloween, yo.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
What are you going as?
Oh god.
I thought you were asking the viewers. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't actually
Tell
want
us-
to know that.
Tell us what you're going as.
No, don't. I don't care.
Oh my god, I care.
I do.
Okay, love you, viewers.
Don't tell Amy, though.
Don't tell Amy.
I think right now, Amy and I, for our get-together tomorrow night, will be going as the couple featured on My Chemical Romance's 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge album cover. Yep. Living out a childhood dream there.
Yeah, we're very excited.
I'm gay.
Yeah.
So gay.
And I'm going as I'm going as a witch, loosely based on Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service.
I wanted to. I had a thought that I proposed to Michaela that we're actually gonna go with the costume that we just announced. But I was thinking that like a group costume would be like one person was the cat and one person was the boy, and you were Kiki. Because I've got those Kiki ears.
I'm the plane, actually.
The plane?
Yeah, there's a plane. I'm the plane.
Does he crash it into his bike or something?
I hope so. Anyway.
No.
So catch me as the plane.
And we'll catch
Crashed
you
into...
next week.
Live at Blockbuster. We're doing a signing.
We record in the Blockbuster. The haunted one.
Seances in the Blockbuster.
The haunted one down in Saratoga.
Catch you there.